I'm not naive to the fact that so many lawyers want a nice, expensive office for a multitude of reasons, okay? There could be ego involved, could be their own personal comfort and style, and they just feel great about themselves if they're working in a beautiful location that has very fine appointments and furnishings and all of that. That's great. I don't have a problem with that, nor should you. That's fantastic. If you love that kind of stuff, do that, all right? But understand, at least own and point out to yourself the fact that you're doing that because you want it. And that's great. That doesn't affect the buying decision. You're not doing it for clients. You're doing it for yourself in family law. That's how that works. Well, hello, welcome to the J. Sterling Hughes Show, where we share how we have built our family law practice from 0 to 25 lawyers and 15 million in revenue, all in the past 10 years. And my purpose here is to document what's working and what's not working, with hopes that you can take that and you can recontextualize it and shorten your success curve. My name is Jeff Hughes and I'm your host. And today's show, we're going to talk about recurring money wasters that pummel lawyers. So, okay, now this show might be me mostly projecting my profligate spending ways on other family lawyers. So I'm certainly not naive to the fact that I may be the only one that can check all 5 of these boxes. But I have seen so many other family lawyers check 1 or more of these. So I think it applies to all of us as a group, but in particular, those that are really intent on growing their family law firm and scaling it out, because the temptation, I believe, is going to be here for all of us to some extent or another. So I'm going to share with you the 5 ways as I look back on my past years of growing and building businesses and family law firm in particular, where I have just wasted money on things that I don't want to see you do the same thing on. So let's dive in on that. The first one is the obvious one probably to all of us, and that is search engine optimization, SEO, the evil dreaded words for lawyers. And I heard groans all over the place when I said that, because it's really afflicted all of us, it seems like, at one point or another. So this is an obvious one. This had to be number 1 on the list. Here's why this is so easy for us to fall victim to, because we all know and understand how important it is for potential clients to find us. And the number 1 place they go to find us is search engines. Like when I first started practicing, it was the phone book. That's way back in the dark ages of 1997, 98, early 2000s. Well, I haven't seen a phone book in many, many years. And I heard they are out there still, but I haven't seen one, okay? But as family lawyers, we know that it's, clients got to find us online, and it's life or death. It's a super important scenario for family law firms for us to have clients be able to find us online. That's just the place where they go for the vast, vast majority of us. We have to have a presence online and be found. So we have a highly important reason to engage in SEO. And we got to find someone that can help us do it, because we don't know how to do it. I've never met actually a family lawyer who really knows how to do SEO well. I certainly don't know squat about it. So I had to partner with a non-lawyer to be able to do well in this area. That's what my strategy was. So I'm also going to put maps under this too. Now, maps can be treated much differently than organic SEO, but there are some certain commonalities that are common in both of these, and it's important for us to understand that. So I'm going to put maps under this as well. And so these SEO fraudsters that call us all the time and they prey on lawyers like crazy, I think there's really 2 categories, buckets of ways where we can waste money on SEO. Okay, first, you have your SEO con artist. This is just a crook, a criminal, essentially. These folks, they know lawyers don't know what they're talking about. They know lawyers need it, and they know lawyers have resources to spend on it. So they come after us, and they're great a lot of times at selling themselves. They're great at putting up sham sort of social proof that they've done something well for other lawyers. They're great at promising the moon. But when it comes to actually delivering over time, they're just con artists who take our money month after month without really any measurable and noticeable results. And I think that, and I've seen this, and I've paid money to these jokers in the past, okay? I think many of these, they're incompetent at best, or they're absolutely duplicitous at worst. It's that spectrum, somewhere in that spectrum. And they often fool lawyers and scare them into signing up, scare them into spending money time after time. And then over time, the lawyer sees that they're just pouring money in a black hole and not getting results, and they back out, and now they got to find someone else. And it's the same thing over and over again, what it feels like the same thing over and over again. Okay, that's the first kind. That's the first bucket, all right? These are your bad actors. Second, there are truly decent SEO agencies, folks that do really well, who really want to add value to their clients and want to do well by their clients. I think in many of those cases, I think they keep their fees high for too long. You come in at a starting price, let's call it $1,000 a month, and you pay that forever. Well, what I have discovered and what happens in my SEO agency is that most of the work is front end loaded. The vast majority of the heavy lifting takes place on the front end. Now, the front end could be a few months if the website's in bad shape, or all the things that need to happen for SEO to work is just not very efficient, not done well, needs to be redone. It could be a couple months for that. Or it could be literally a couple years to get that right, depending on the size of the site and how big it is and that sort of thing. Usually it's a year to year and a half or so, is what my experience, before a lot of that heavy lifting kind of tapers down. It becomes more of a maintenance mode. And of course, you can have different levels of maintenance. You can have expansion that kind of takes it out of a maintenance into different realm of managing an account. But for the most part, let's just broadly speak, in most SEO map work, the heavy lifting takes place on the front end of the work. And it could vary on the front end how long and how intense that work actually is for a period of time. Many family law firms fall into the trap of spending way too much money on continuous SEO. That's the same fee over time without a whole lot of added value after that front end work is done. That's the first way. Okay, the first recurring money waster that pummels lawyers. I know it's pummeled me. Okay, so I'll own that one. All right, the second one is spending money on expensive office space. So back in 2015, I spent a small fortune on an office that looked great, had great furniture, down in Franklin, Wisconsin, which is about 35 minutes from our main office here in Menominee Falls. My dream was to have consistent furniture, cubicles and office furniture and conference room stuff between all of our locations, because we were going to grow out our location. So I wanted to have it all look consistent and the same. And so I was dealing with one vendor. That was the dream. Total waste of money. It looked great, had nice chairs, all that sort of stuff, but it was a total waste of money. It turns out that clients rarely, and it happens occasionally to someone somewhere, I'm sure, but rarely ever hire their lawyer because they had nice furnishings in the office. That's just not a thing. Clients don't care about that. Now, lawyers care about that. Okay, we do, no doubt about that, but clients don't. That's low, way down the list on most important factors for choosing a family lawyer. Okay, now, conversely, I will point out this. Don't overlook this. Some clients won't hire if your office looks like a complete dump. If your furniture's tattered, if your carpet's a dirty, rotten mess, if it's gross, they'll think you're gross, okay? They'll think you're gonna do crappy work, and so they won't hire you. They may not subconsciously do the calculus, but that's what's going on. You gotta get just good enough. Our philosophy today is don't be noticeable. Don't have your furnishings and your space really noticeable. Don't have it memorable. Just have it good enough where it's not really noticed. Clients can focus on you, how great you are. That's what we want to do. So it's just past tolerable is where we want to be. It needs to be clean. It needs to be modestly comfortable, and that's good. Okay, that's what's important to us. So since that debacle back in 15, I have learned that we just do the simple, functional thing in all of our offices. Now, I'm not naive to the fact that so many lawyers want a nice, expensive office for a multitude of reasons, okay? There could be ego involved, could be their own personal comfort and style, and they just feel great about themselves if they're working in a beautiful location that has very fine appointments and furnishings and all of that. That's great. I don't have a problem with that, nor should you. That's fantastic. If you love that kind of stuff, do that, all right? But understand, at least own and point out to yourself the fact that you're doing that because you want it. And that's great. That doesn't affect the buying decision. You're not doing it for clients. You're doing it for yourself in family law. That's how that works. Now, one quick little funny story on that. It's kind of like a look good, play good sort of thing. I know some lawyers, if they're in a great environment, they feel confident and it projects out in their consults, it projects out in their work, and that is totally legit. I will point out that. My story on this one time is I was at this business meeting with our Green Bay Packer coach, Matt LaFleur. And Matt LaFleur is, relative to other coaches, a young, good-looking, well-fit kind of guy. And if you see him on TV, he just looks the part. He looks great, okay? And here in Wisconsin, it gets really cold in those December games. If the Packers make the playoffs in those January games, it could be sub-zero, freezing cold. I don't even go to the games if you give me free tickets, sort of cold. And you can see Matt LaFleur out there just acting like he's as warm as sitting on the beach somewhere. And someone in our group asked him, like, I noticed that you go to these games sometimes and it's like negative degrees and you're up there with what it seems like 1 or 2 layers on. He goes, you know, it's the old look good, play good thing. And what you don't know is underneath those layers, I'm wearing a wetsuit, like the kind like divers wear when they go in the ocean where the water's like 41 degrees or something like that. So he would wear these like layer of, I don't know, rubber or whatever those divers wear underneath his clothes. And it looked like he just had on like a really thin little pullover or something like that. But he had underneath there this, super warm thing. And so he gave the story. He went back one time at halftime and had to change it out because he was sweating like crazy underneath that thing. It's kind of funny. So look good, play good, totally get it. It's legit. I bow to you on that. If that's who you are, that's how you want to operate. Great. Just know that it's not for clients, it's for you, which works. All right. Third way that I've recurringly, time after time, year after year, totally wasted money on things that I didn't need to do. And that is overstaffing. Completely overstaffed at so many times. I'm a total sucker for overstaffing because I just think we need great people. And if a great person comes across my path, I want to hire that person because I feel like if you build it, they will come. That's the kind of the mentality. And I made that mistake way too many times. I have hired lawyers before we had clients. I've hired paralegals before we've had lawyers generating the work. I'm really a sucker for marketers. I love marketing. And so hiring marketers before we can I remember times I've built out a team of marketers when we already had too many leads, we couldn't handle them. There's no logic in that, Jeff. And I know that. Or I'm just telling you, that's an area where maybe that's my ego speaking there. I don't know. I like having a big marketing team, so maybe that's part of it. Don't do that, all right? If you can't handle the leads you have, don't go hiring more people to generate more leads because you'll just end up spending more money and shooting yourself in the foot every single day that you do that. Another one is IT pros. We've, for the most part, homegrown our CRM, our client relations management software. We work off of a tool called Salesforce, which is really popular with big companies, but we've heavily modified it and fine-tuned it over the years. And we've needed, some really good systems people to do that. And so we have built out large teams before because this is an easy one to justify. It's so easy to make the argument, well, if we hired someone, they could do more work to make our lawyers and our paralegals more efficient. So let's do that because there's an ROI on it. It's so easy to build these fabricated ROIs on hiring more labor for this stuff. What we've now done is we've scaled that way back. We have one person on our systems team with a support person as well, and then we outsource the rest of it, and we can flex in and flex out with getting work done on our Salesforce system. All right, the fourth area where I have wasted money, fair amount of times I might add, and that is online review software. So we thrive on having great online reviews. We need them, and we do a large volume of clients every month. And at times we have spent money on review software. And there's a time and a place for it. I'm not crapping on all of the review software and services that are out there, but let me tell you this, I have discovered this too many times to recount. Getting a review from a client in family law is really hard work. And there's not a shortcut. You just gotta do it one-on-one, relationship to relationship to do this well consistently over time. It's a constant job and you need dedicated, I think, resources to do this well, or find out a way to really compensate your lawyers to do it and their paralegals to do that. If you can do that, it works out beautifully. We do quite well today on reviews because we have to pay internally to our team to get them. It's just really tough work. And for some, you can pay them $1 million, they're not going to go out and get reviews. They feel so, afraid of it and nervous about it and all that kind of stuff. So it's really tough to get these. And I have found that the services that are out there, they look good, they sound good, they may be super tempting, but hiring vendors to do that, I just don't think it works well at all. Maybe you have a different story on that, but I have not found it to work well. All right, the last one is in website redesigns. This feels like something you need to do all the time, is you need to freshen up your website. And that's true to an extent, but it's not, I believe, as often as we kind of feel pressured to do that. Website redesigns are very expensive to do them and do them well. I have found that sometimes you do them and you screw up your SEO and it's not worth it. And I'm just not a big proponent of constant redesigns. I'm a big proponent of constant tweaking. They do need to look modern. They don't have to look up to date. Clients want information. They're not there to see the beauty and all the bells and whistles and all the flashing lights and all that sort of stuff. That looks good. It feels good. Clients don't make decisions off that. They make the decisions off Are you good enough? Do you have the information that I'm looking for? Can I trust you? And why can I trust you? Are there reviews? Are there people, there are testimonies that are there? Do you look good in your picture? Every lawyer should have a picture on their site. If you're practicing, you don't have a picture, get a picture up, because people want to look at people and they want to look at you, not like stock imaging. So don't do anything like that across your site. Try to have real live people on there that other people can connect with, that your clients can connect with. Okay, so those are 5 areas where I have recurringly wasted money on, and it's financially been very expensive, and I'm hopeful that you can take these 5, be on guard in your practice and avoid them if you can as you grow out your practice. I hope that's helpful to you, and wish you all the best as you build your practice.